Welcome to our presentation, Surviving COVID-19 and Ensuring Digital Access to Education in Extreme Poverty Context. My name is Cecilia Azorín. I will be the presenting author of this work. Also, the rest of the team is also here supporting me. And I want to start by thanking Cristóbal, Jesús, and Lorena, my colleagues from Malaga, for letting me tell ICSI members the incredible story behind this paper. And you can see here our contact email addresses and information like our Twitter profile. We are honored to be involved for the first time in this new ICSI network, Crisis Response in Education, whose initiative activity focus on the impact of COVID in education systems. For us, it is important to specify the theoretical lens that supports our work, and we want to start with Fulan, who states that the COVID pandemic has upended virtually every aspect of humanity as we know it, shocking current civilization of its foundation. Amidst the death and destruction is a disruption so fundamental that it loosens and discombobulates the system in a way that creates openings for transforming the status quo. So beyond COVID-19 supernova, there are critical voices that questions if another education is coming. According to Azorín, like the life cycle of a star, the education journey of the previous decades has come to an end. And the explosion that has taken place as a consequence of COVID-19 supernova offers a new possibility to rethink what matters most in education. And according to the World Economic Forum, in many parts of the world, learning is confined to only those with direct access to physical school buildings. And in many, we can see in many parts also of the world, the pandemic has highlighted disparities in this access to technology. And children and young people with no technological devices at home have fallen into a black hole. Hargreaves states that during the crisis, middle-class families and those who are on the edge of poverty are also being affected and have to choose between maintain internet services or putting food on the table. And Harris argues that these current circumstances demand that all students have internet connectivity so that they can access resources and continue progressing. So thus, leading education systems have a moral duty to invest in connectivity for all learners as a priority. And if learning is to be genuinely inclusive and equity to be realized. And the story of Los Asperones starts in Malaga. Malaga is located in Andalusia, Spain, and this is the scenario in which the story unfolds. This paper focuses on the digital debate in Los Asperones, a disadvantaged area of Malaga, southern Spain, with a population of 1,100, of which 90% live in extreme poverty. And just before the COVID-19 supernova exploded, the Special Report on Extreme Poverty and Human Rights, United Nations Philip Alston, defined Los Asperones as a hotspot of extreme poverty, where a Roma community is living in a shanty town in dire conditions, without adequate housing or access to public services for 32 years now. And the challenging circumstances of Los Asperones include overcrowding, illiteracy, school absenteeism, unemployment, exclusion, and children who live together in crowded spaces with no guarantee of being able to eat 3 times a day. So in this particular context, networking is becoming a good ally in the fight against COVID-19. And in recent years, there has been a huge effort on the part of educational institutions and non-governmental organizations to get children and young people to advance in their studies. And Los Asperones today survives thanks to a social network that revolves around this neighborhood, but COVID-19 has undoubtedly made this social and exclusion gap even wider. So the aim of this paper is to present the social and educational response to the digital debate enhanced by COVID-19 in Hispanic extreme poverty context. And the patronage project led by the University of Malaga, the Association Chavorrillos, and the school María de la O is entitled Abre una puerta al futuro, which means open a door to the future. The purpose of this project is to reduce the digital divide in Los Asperones and generate synergies between volunteers from the University of Malaga and Los Asperones, thus empowering people who live there and to combat inequality by providing tools that truly allow what Harris and Jones summarize as connect to learn and learn to connect. So the first step is a campaign for the donation of laptops that will be recycled in a joint workshop among computer students from the University of Malaga and young people from the neighborhood of Los Asperones. The second implies the creation of a Wi-Fi community with long-range repeaters to provide access to all students in the neighborhood. And the third, provide training in digital competencies to different agents, families, students, and teachers, including e-learning platforms and the use, reuse, and repair of devices and deployment of Wi-Fi. This poster is part of the campaign from the University of Malaga for the donation of laptops, and 90 laptops have been received since the campaign began until February. And at the same time, a video was made to encourage donation. And this other picture shows the network of volunteers planning the Wi-Fi rollout in Los Asperones. In this other image, we can see computer science students from the University of Malaga taking the laptops received. And here there is a meeting picture with the families of Los Asperones that were informed about the project in the María de la O school. So the third stage, the last stage, is the capacity building training in digital competencies aimed at students and families. And the priority is to minimize the impact that the COVID-19 pandemic is having in this disadvantaged area by supporting the digital training of students and their families in the short, medium, but also long term. So at this point, we would like to draw attention to what the next steps of this project are. And there are 3 clear priorities on the horizon for moving forward the project. First is the design of a website space for the project, including links of interest, resources, and information on social service, scholarships, grants, and other procedures related to their daily life. The second is to amplify the initiative to secondary and adult education. And the third is to empower children and young people for the future. So future studies will, of course, analyze the outcomes and impacts of these projects on students and families who are benefiting from this initiative for the next months. But we want to stop time for a minute and think about the harsh reality of Los Asperones that makes us reflect on the need to combat the digital divide, and where crossing boundaries and building bridges are essential strategies. Below are some conclusions in relation to the project presented. And there is no doubt that this neighborhood is confronting marginalization in education. The different stakeholders involved are part of a social movement led by and for people, and a university community partnership developed through the project seeks to face the COVID-19 challenge by creating collective capacity and collaborative networking in extreme poverty context. And we think that making the start that all children carry within them, signed briefly, is one of the main purposes of education. So we are going to tell you the story of the mural of stars. The Maria de la O school has a large-scale mosaic that covers one of its walls, and the mural of stars in which each star stands for a student who has achieved credentials. And at this moment, there are the number of people who obtain credentials are 76 high school certificate, 4 baccalaureate, 1 vocational training in middle grade, 2 in higher grade, and also there are 2 students that now are studying at the University of Malaga. So this is an initiative to recognize the achievements of the students and represents a huge effort in a vulnerable location like this. And however, the consequence of the COVID-19 supernova will make it even more difficult for students to obtain their start. We think that one important lesson from Los Asperones is that education brings color to gray situations, and as can be read in this other mural, La educación colorea tu vida, which means education colors your life. This is the positive message with which we would like to end this presentation. And also we have a final idea and video, a 3-minute video in which some of the protagonists of Los Asperones appear, and we want to share with you to bringing you closer to this remarkable neighborhood and this particular context. The video with the English subtitles is going to start now.
A la posibilidad de poder afrontar la adversidad se le llama resiliencia. Estamos viendo nosotros en el proyecto de investigación en el que estamos colaborando con el equipo de barrio de Asperones, que la resiliencia, sin embargo, no es algo exclusivamente individual. Para afrontar la exclusión y salir airoso de la exclusión se necesita toda una red comunitaria que luche contra ella, y así sí puede emerger la resiliencia.
A las centenas. El valor que le da a la gente de este barrio a la educación en los últimos años ha ido cambiando. Luego los niños aquí que se saquen el graduado, las niñas y los niños que se saquen el graduado, que tengan estudios, luego se convierten medio en famosos. El mural de las estrellas surge de esa idea, también a través de va conectado con nuestro programa, que lo que se pretende es visualizar que con un poquito de esfuerzo y de constancia se consiguen cosas.
En la escuela yo le digo a los niños que yo quiero tu estrella, que tú tienes que poner una estrella. Es decir, se ha creado una motivación y se ha puesto en valor a determinada gente. Y se valora mucho al que juega bien al fútbol, se valora mucho al que canta flamenco, pero ahí se ha puesto y se ha hecho visible que es, y había gente que pensaba, ¿este tiene graduado? Entonces yo también.
Me gustaría ser como yo, no, como tú, ¿no? Me gustaría ser alguien en la vida, ¿no? Tener mi estudio, mi hermana se la ha sacado, mi padre, tengo mi otra hermana que también está también para sacárselo, y son mi punto de referencia de decir, no, ellos se lo han sacado, yo no voy a ser el único yo, pues no, pues yo también quiero retomar los estudios y sacármelo, ser también alguien como ellos, y que pongan mi estrella ahí también, allá afuera.
Una vida buena, pues una vida normal, con tu trabajo, con tu estudio, con una vida normal.
Poquito a poco irán teniendo referentes y serán referentes de otros. Y sentirse ellos orgullosos, tan orgullosos de lo que han conseguido, a nosotros es uno de los logros más importantes.
Que nunca tienes la toalla, que siempre hay que seguir adelante. Te pase lo que pase, tienes que poner empeño, tienes que seguir adelante, creer en ti misma. Y así las cosas se consiguen.
Primer día después, luego ya me dirá, ¿eh? Sí, hasta luego.